I am Lorne Martin, son of Albert and Mary Martin, who came to Manitoba in 1898. Albert started working as a painter for a farmer Dick Joint at Driscoll, Manitoba, an occupation which he had followed as a young man near Wingham, Ontario. On December the 2nd, 1999, he came across the border to Saskatchewan, then the Northwest Territories, and applied for a homestead on the southeast of 36,730, which lies on the Manitoba border on the Saskatchewan side. In 1901, he went back to Wingham, Ontario, and persuaded his father, Thomas Martin, a widower, to come west and homestead. They sold their few possessions in Ontario and came back west where Thomas Martin homesteaded on the northeast of section 26,730, where Murray Ross now lives. Thomas Martin had been used to railroading and bushwork all his life before coming west at 60 years of age. He was good with hand tools, so he dug ditches by shovel and pick and drained all his homestead. He used the stones for tiling, and when he sold his quarters section, every acre was tillable. At this time, the railroad just came as far as Reston, so supplies had to be carried from Reston. Albert had to learn to bake, so that was his job after a day's walk to Reston and back. He baked bread to have a rest. Albert first farmed with 3 oxen and later purchased a horse, so now Thomas and he worked their 2 quarters together and used a 12-inch walking plow to break their lands, about 10 acres each year, out of raw prairie. They worked from daylight till dark, using 2 oxen and 1 team, and a horse and an oxen for the other team, changing them off. There was no need to cut bush, as the prairie fires had went through so often that all the trees had been killed and burnt. In 1903, Albert went back to Wingham, Ontario, and married Richmond Stark, and came back to Homestead, where by now he had built a log house, a stable, a granary, and a barn and a house. Thomas Martin had built on his quarter section, so went back to Batch part-time. During his homestead days, the mosquitoes were immense. The men wore veils on their hats, much like the beekeepers of our time do now. Albert chewed tobacco, so forgetting his veil would spit without lifting it, making the veil in very poor condition. The oxen were driven or guided by yoke, so when they got too hot, they would head for the nearest slough and go in implement man and all. No amount of persuasion would move them till they were cooled off. Young brides coming west had their trials. Some brought hand-woven carpets, which had to be tacked down to the floor, and at house cleaning had to be removed and cleaned and then tacked down again. The children of Albert and Mary can remember telling how their parents robbed wild duck nests and put hen eggs under to be hatched. They had to be there a day before the eggs were to hatch, or they couldn't catch the chickens. They seemed to get the wild instinct from the mother duck. They had a family of 7: Marion, Tom, Annabelle, Lorne, Edna, Wesley, and Irene. The children all attended Brayside School, which was 4.5 miles northwest of their farm. Until the children were old enough, the dad drove them in the winter and mother drove them in the summer. Marion, Tom, Annabelle, and Lorne were all born in the first sod house. Edna, Wesley, and Irene were born in the new frame house. Dr. Chapman of Reston was the attending physician for all the family except Edna and Wesley, making the 16-mile trip by horse and buggy, or cutter and buggy and horse. The mother, Mary Richmond, passed away on January the 28th, 1930. Albert Martin passed away on July the 28th, 1949. Grandfather Thomas Martin passed away on August 3rd, 1932. Marion, the oldest, went to Braeside School and took high school in Antler, Saskatchewan. Then took a dressmaking course in Winnipeg. Marion was born on November the 6th, 1903, and married Ethel Davy, a farmer, on March 16th, 1933. They farmed on the same farm until their son bought the farm and they retired, but still live in the building. They had two children, Barbara and Preston. In 1953, Barbara married Morris Nolan of the Kelvindale district, south of Antler, where they still farm. They have three children, Darlene, Dale, and Larry. Preston married Joyce Adair, formerly of Maryfield, on September the 27th, 1963, but teaching school at Sinclair at that time. They bought the Lorne farm where they made their home and continued to work the home farm, which they bought later. They have two children, Robin and Aaron, who are in school. The Preston Davy family have moved to Winnipeg since 1979. Tom was born on the home farm at Antler on July the 14th, 1905, and married Vera Cove on February the 19th, 1930. They farmed in the Braeside district until 1935, when they moved to Rosser, Manitoba. In 1942, they moved back to a farm in the Braeside district until 1947, when they moved to Rest, to the J.I. Bulla farm, now farmed by Lorne Martin. Tom passed away March the 24th, 1970. At present, Vera resides in a senior citizen apartment in Edson, Alberta. They have four children, Albert, Dawn, Diane, and Lois. George Thomas, born April the George Albert, born April 8, 1931, married Margaret McKim on July the 25th, 1952. They have five children, Raymond, Evelyn, Elaine, Rodney, and Elizabeth. Donald Morrow, born July the 3rd, 1936, at Winnipeg, married Lois Frances Phillips of Calgary, Alberta. They have four children, Joseph, Wendy Fay, James Donald, and Kathy Marie. Annabelle was born June the 4th, 1907, and on November the 25th, 1931, married Bill Upper, a farmer in the Clover Hill district, east of Antler. They have a family of six, Beverly, Clara Jean, Hartley, Helen, Robert, Dennis, Annabelle. Annabelle passed away in 1959, and Bill passed away in 1976. Beverly married Henry Detmer of Clover Hill District on July the 14th, 1949, where they lived until 1974 when they moved to Brandon. They have three children, Linda, Murray, Randy. Linda married Brian Winch of Reston on August the 3rd, 1968. They have two boys, Troy and Aaron. They moved to Swift Current, where Brian is employed with Elmwood Chrysler. Murray married Pat Berry, daughter of Burton and Vera Berry of Reston, in November 1973. They have two children, Tanya and Corey. They live in Brandon, where Murray is employed with the Department of Highways. Randy is employed with Beverage Services in Brandon. Clara